You're watching Beauty in the D, hosted by yours truly, Stephanie Coney, where we discuss power, wealth, and style. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and other top social media platforms. So please like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for tuning in and watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. First things first, I want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. G McCall, also known as G, the Short Hair Slayer. You can find her with no appointment necessary in the city of Southfield at the Mark Roberts Hair Salon, located on Northwestern and 12 Mile Road. Also, Mina Martinez, who handles all of my social media marketing. And last but not least, the London consulting firm that powers and sponsors this show. So I'm going to get right into the introduction of our guest today. All of my guests are special to me, and I feel that I have good relationships with them. But this one is something special, extra, extra special, because she's not only a fearless leader, a good friend, but someone that I also consider a great mentor. So my guest today is Dr. Libbett. She has been licensed in real estate since 1986 as an associate broker and owner of Starlite Properties located in Southfield, Michigan. Etoise, pronounced Etoise, full-time real estate consulting and training, has given her experience in multiple facets of real estate. Because she believes in trying to make a positive impact anywhere she can, she's an active member of the Greater Metropolitan Association of Realtors, the Grosse Pointe Board of Realtors, and the Greater Detroit Realtists Association. She is currently the president of the Women's Council of Southeastern Michigan, an affiliate of the Greater Detroit Realtists Association. Etoise is past president for the Detroit Association and the Greater Kalamazoo Association. She has served on the board of directors of Michigan Realtors and has chaired and served on many committees and task force, as well as the treasurer, president-elect, and president of Michigan Realtors. In 2022, she was named Realtor of the Year by the Greater Metropolitan Association of Realtors and Realtor of the Year by Michigan Realtors. Etoise has also chaired the following committees at the National Association of Realtors NAR: Housing Opportunity Advisory Subcommittee, Housing Opportunity Committee, Board Leadership Forum, Medium Board Subforum, the Equal Opportunity Cultural Diversity Committee, and the Equal Opportunity Cultural Diversity Forum, and is currently the Vice Chair of Fair Housing Policy. While chairing the Cultural Diversity Committee, the Strategic Plan for Minority Outreach was developed, along with the original At Home with Diversity course. She has served on numerous NAR committees, working groups, and forums. Dr. Libbett has served as a federal political coordinator on behalf of the National Association of Realtors to former Congresswoman Carolyn Cheeks Kilpatrick, former Congresswoman Hanson Clark, and former Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, totaling over 21 years of service. Dr. Libbett is a strong advocate for fair housing and equal opportunity. She has been a fair housing and diversity instructor in 2003. Etoise received an award from the Fair Housing Center of Southwest Michigan, having helped to establish that organization. In 2005, she received the Fair Housing Leadership Award from the Metropolitan Detroit Fair Housing Center. And Etoise believes in community and service and is a member of the Southfield Housing Commission, the Zoning Board of Appeals, and an elected precinct delegate for the 12th District, Oakland County Democratic Party. Etoise, being a sports fan, is on the board of the Friends of Historic Hamtramck Stadium, whose mission is to restore and preserve historic Hamtramck Stadium, ensuring its future through educational, cultural, and recreational programming, honoring the history of Negro League baseball and amateur sports in Hamtramck and Detroit. She also sits on the Michigan Equity Advisory Committee. Dr. Libbett's alma mater is Howard University, where she received her Bachelor of Science and DDS degrees. Etoise is a veteran of the United States Army, where she served as a captain. restoring and caring for the oral needs of troops and their dependents. She is married to Dave Libbett III, mother to Dave Libbett IV, and has two beautiful grandsons. Hello and welcome to Beauty in the D, Dr. Etoi Libbett.
Good morning. And well, it's afternoon, isn't it? Thank you so much for having me here. I always enjoy talking to you.
Oh, thank you. You are just like one of my favorite people to speak with. I mean, just reading your bio, okay, the things that you've been a part of, and more importantly, the things that you are a part of now. How do you find the time to manage and handle all of this?
Well, it's time management, and I do a lot of things at 2 a.m. in the morning.
At
That's
2 a.m.
my
when most
best-
people are sleeping.
Yes, that's my best time. My best time.
Okay, so let's talk about time management just for a second because obviously you have a passion for what you do
I
to
do.
sit on all of these boards because listen, I work with you side by side with Women's Council and I know how passionate you are and how tirelessly you work. How do you find the time to juggle all of that? A true leader.
So the important thing is to have a good team.
Mm-hmm.
No one can do all of this by themselves.
Correct. Correct.
So you have to have people that you can depend on and also people that have the same passion that you have.
Absolutely.
So, it's not a leader is not a person who's always out in front.
Mm-hmm.
They're the person that puts other people out in front.
Absolutely.
I love mentoring as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you call me and ask me a question, I will give you my opinion. I don't expect you to have to take it.
Right.
But I've been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, and some things never change.
And you've done a lot of trailblazing as well.
I have.
Let's talk about that. This is Women's History Month.
Yeah.
Okay. You're definitely a leader in the community. Let's talk about that. Leadership.
Okay. So I like to think about it from the viewpoint of the fact that I come from a family
Mm-hmm.
that was an advocacy family.
Okay. So
At
that means
five,
a lot.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At 5 years old, I was running the copy machine for people who were running for office that
Okay.
we wanted to support, our family.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather was one of those people that picked up folks and took them to the poll.
Really?
Yes, yes. My mother and father also did things. My mother was a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and so words are very important to me. She taught me words at a young age.
You shared that with me, how you were an avid reader, how you would
Yes.
just read a bunch of books at like 5, right?
At 5,
Uh-huh.
yes, yes. I remember coming home. I'm originally from Yellow Springs, Ohio.
Mhm.
Coming home one day and our living room was full of books. I was thrilled. Oh, look at all these books I'm going to get to read. The next day when I came home, the books were gone. It wasn't until the end of my mother's life, she came to live with us, that I found out that those books were shipped down south covertly to children
Mhm.
who were not allowed to have books.
Wow.
So my life has been full of advocacy
Mm-hmm.
and words.
Mm-hmm.
As I think back about my history,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the fro,
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the first people to adopt the fro at Howard University.
At Howard?
At
An
Howard.
HBCU?
And
I am so shocked to hear that story.
Yeah, there were
This girl from Yellowstone.
Yellow
Yellow Springs.
Yes. Most of my highlights have been like words to me.
Mm-hmm.
The next highlight was Vietnam War, because a lot of the men that I worked on had been to Vietnam, and so I would listen to their stories. The word advocacy, the word first woman,
Mm-hmm.
first African American president of Michigan realtors.
Thank you.
There's a lot of uh, feeling when I hear words. So one of my favorite people is Marvin Gaye, and the song "What's Going On" is something that I'm always thinking about. What's going on? How can I make it better? How can I advocate for it? Who can help me
Who
advocate?
can help you?
Yes.
How can you formulate a bomb team?
Yes,
Basically.
exactly.
So, what made you run for that position to become the first African American woman to be the president of that organization? Because and who supported you along that?
Interestingly enough, there were two white males who were responsible for getting me to that place.
Wow.
Both have passed away now,
Okay.
but they pushed me forward. One wanted me to teach fair housing in Kalamazoo at the Board of Realtors had a school. Well, what I knew about fair housing was what was taught to me in the class to get my license. And he said, I will send you to a train the trainer at the National Association of Realtors. When I got there, there was a gentleman who said, Fred Underwood said, would you like to be on our committee? There's nobody from Michigan on the Fair Housing Committee. My parents had said, if you're going to be a part of an organization, be a part of it, be an active part of it.
Amen.
And so I said yes. I was the minority outreach person.
Okay.
That was the first committee that I really was
The minority
the chair.
outreach. So you were the liaison, kind of, so to speak.
Well, no, I was the chair.
Okay.
And the association didn't have a lot of African Americans.
Okay.
And as the chair of the minority outreach, I thought we need to get more minorities involved in what's going on. There's education here. There are businesses that are going on. Sales are going on. Referrals are going on. And from that, I became the chair of Fair Housing. And often, when you are doing those kinds of things, because that was not a popular position to be in.
I'm sure.
So you get pushback. But I was used to pushback.
Okay.
When you live in two worlds, as we all do, because I'm also a realtist, as you said before, as well as a realtor. That's two different worlds.
Two different worlds. Yeah.
And so we have different goals and missions, but the bottom line is that we're here to be business people. We're here, and I believe in raising my people as fast and as quickly as I can. And so that's kind of how I got where I am.
Okay. So before we get into the other world of the realtist world, because we really got to get into that, I do want to talk about what were some of the things that you accomplished being a trailblazer in that role as the president, because I know, I'm pretty sure you got a lot of pushback. They weren't used to that, especially a woman, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's just talk about that.
Well, there were some things that, as when you are different in any space, I think you have to think, and you have to have support. And often that support is not visible. So as some of our forefathers, women, led people underground, there was a reason it was called the Underground Railroad. That kind of thing still happens. There are people who will push you ahead without everyone else knowing.
But in the
that.
background.
In the background.
And that's the definition of a great leader, because they're trying to get the mission Okay.
the mission.
So, real quick before we get into our other world, you are a member of the Southfield Housing Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
All right. So, one of the things, I am one of those people who always tries to advocate for the underdog,
Mm-hmm.
the person who needs the most help. How can I do that? My favorite clients are the first time home buyer.
Really?
Yes, because they will be the happiest when they get that home.
Okay.
And I was just telling somebody a story the other day where when we got finished with the closing, the lender was there, the title company was there, my husband and I were there. This lady did a sermon. She actually did a sermon. She praised God. That had never happened before.
At a closing.
At a closing.
She was
But
a first-time home buyer.
She was a first-time home buyer in her 60s.
Wow.
And
she had a sermon in
and
her.
so she had a sermon
And a
in
testimony
her.
for sure.
And it just touched my heart.
I'm sure.
It touched my heart. But she was doing it for her daughter.
Okay.
And it also leads me into something else that I'm sure you'll get into.
Mhm.
And that is, words again, wealth building.
Yes.
Wealth
And
building.
we're going to get right into that.
Mhm.
Hello, everyone. Again, you are watching Beauty and the D, hosted by yours truly, Miss Stephanie Coney, where we discuss power, wealth, and style. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and other social media platforms, so please like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for tuning in to WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Now, you're also a member of GDRA, the Greater Detroit Realtors Association.
Yes.
You're a board member, and you're also the president of Women's Council of Southeastern Michigan, which is an affiliate of Greater Detroit Realtors
Yes.
Association. Let's talk about that, and then I need to talk about that hat. For those who don't know who GDRA are, the meeting was held here in Detroit in 1947. Please explain the need from being the president of a Realtors Association. Talk about the importance and the difference of being a realtist.
The difference of being a realtist is that while we all want to be wonderful, educated professionals, we still have some differences between the realtors and the realtists. The realtists were formed, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers was formed in 1947 because we could not become, African Americans could not become members of the National Association of Realtors. And so in so many areas we formed our own because there's also a National Association of Dentists because we could not be part of the dental association as well. So we are used to forming our own and having our
Advocacy.
own. And exactly, advocating for those issues that affect us personally. The data that's put out and so forth. At any rate, 1947 was when NARAB, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, was formed. There was, of the 12 people who actually put it together, one of those people was from Detroit. Her name was Naomi Black, a woman. And then the Women's Council really didn't come together until 1971. In the 50s, women started joining NARAB because a year after, 1948, women were allowed to vote for positions and be appointed to positions in NARAB. In 1971 was the formal starting of the Women's Council.
And what was the need for Women's Council?
Well, the need or the mission, let's say the mission is to improve and to educate women and men
Mm-hmm.
in leadership, to become better professionals,
Mm-hmm.
and to look at all facets of the real estate profession. So that's the basic mission.
Okay. And our initial name as Women's Council, because if I remember my history correctly,
Yes.
that was formed in Detroit as well.
Yes.
The Rockettes.
The the brokerettes.
I'm sorry, the Brokerettes.
The brokerettes.
How cute.
How
How
cute.
Detroit.
Yes, how Detroit. Detroit has been a leader as far as real estate is concerned
Mhm.
for decades.
Mhm.
So the brokerettes were formed and eventually became Women's Council, and there were three women who actually formalized in 1971 the Women's Council, and one of those women was from Detroit.
I love it. I love our history, and I am so proud to be a Detroiter. I really am,
Yeah.
and for the just the strength that we embody. Even right now, Detroit is going through some changes, and it is people like you and our Realtors organization who just promote black home ownership. But we're not stopping. You know that we're going to keep going with our mission. So why don't you talk to everyone who's listening about Women's Council and what's on the agenda for
Well,
Women's Council?
it was a woman, the president at the time, Tanisha Wilson, was the president of the Greater Detroit Realtors Association.
Mhm.
And I said to her, I would like to start a women's council here in Detroit. And she said, okay, do it. I said, okay, I'll do it. So I went about, there are legal things you have to do, and that's why we're called the Southeastern Michigan uh, Women's Council.
What made you want to start a chapter here,
Well,
Dr. Libbett?
It's important. We had a women's council
Mhm.
at one point,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that we needed to focus on the fact that we needed to train our women in leadership,
Mm-hmm.
we needed to educate, and we needed to spread the knowledge of all of the professional areas that real estate agents can go into, that women need to be in all of those parts. So
Yes.
we actually have a program that's going on. The National Association of Realtors has, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, the Realtists, have several different affiliates. One of those affiliates is called WIRE,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Women Investing in Real Estate.
Mm-hmm.
We are having a virtual event on the 26th of March.
Mm-hmm.
That president of the WIRE is going to be our keynote speaker, but we have two women right here in Detroit
Mm-hmm.
who are going through a course to be contractors. One, Candace Rucker, is in a program to, she's done some contracting and
Mhm.
development,
Uh-huh.
but she's in a special program. And then one of our past presidents,
Okay.
Miranda Bartell, was chosen by by NARAB
Mhm.
to go through a development course. And she also has developments that she's done in Detroit, and she told me recently she's doing one in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an expansion of an area that women, especially black women, have
Yeah.
not been a part of.
Absolutely.
And that is one of the reasons that I wanted to start a women's council here.
Mm-hmm. Phenomenal. And even with women stepping out, like Wire, for instance, it's about more than just investing, flipping houses,
Yes,
taking it to the next level with development.
yes,
Also with appraising as well, appraisals.
yes.
We have another member, Renee Johnson, who was in Nkingi Gonzalez, who were selected to go through a program via our national chapter NARAB for appraisals.
Which is really very important because there has been some appraisal bias.
Mhm.
We know that.
Mhm.
And part of that bias comes from the way in which appraisers get certified.
Mhm.
It is an area that we have been left out of. So I am definitely proud of those two.
Absolutely.
And both of them are members
Yes.
of Women's Council, so.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm looking at the Women's Council website right now, and it is beautiful.
Thank you.
We want to absolutely give a shout out to one of our members, Hayward Little, who has been very instrumental with all of the technical pieces
Yes.
of putting this together. But it looks beautiful, and I'm just clicking here on the events tab. We do have some events coming up here. The one you just spoke on with Wire, that's going to be a virtual event.
Yeah.
What else can people expect to get from us in Women's Council?
We are also going to be doing a scholarship tea
Okay.
because part of Women's Council is looking at the future.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to be able to support our young people.
Absolutely.
Our scholarship tea, it will be a high tea.
Mm-hmm.
Go to our site.
Mhm.
It's www.wcsemrealtist.org. That's www.wcsemrealtist.org. And you can see all of our event. I'm excited about our tea, which will be in May. We're also doing a prayer brunch during Realtist Week.
Mhm.
And you should be talking about Realtist Week because Stephanie is part of the event planning on that. And they're letting us have the 12th
Yes, that's
of
our day.
April for our prayer luncheon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna switch.
You
I'm gonna
gonna throw it
switch
off on
this.
me?
Stephanie, can you tell us about Realtist Week?
Yes, we are very excited about Realtors Week. That is going to run from April 7th through the 13th. Well, we will have a day of worship. All of us will go to our respective places of worship, and we're waiting on the brochures and materials to get to us so that we can spread those out to our place of worship. We also will have a day where we will go and visit other realtors' offices and just explain to them the importance of becoming a realtor and what we do. And because a lot of people don't know what we do and who we are, let them know we're right here in their backyard. We'll also have a day of physical fitness where we will get together and work out. We will have a day of advocacy where we will talk about fair housing. We will have a panel, and that actually will be a brunch as well. That's going to be on that Thursday at Hartford Memorial Church. That Wednesday, we will also have a day of charity where we will be giving. And right now, we're waiting on the details to funnel down, but we'll be at Mariners Inn. Right next to Cass Tech High School, where we will do a day of giving and a panel discussion, just talking about real estate opportunities and hopefully inspiring some people there and jumping in and giving. That's what we do best. So that those are some of the activities and events that we have planned for Realtors Week. We are super excited. Oh, we will also have, I cannot forget this,
No.
our Building Black Wealth
Well,
tour.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna have that is going to be at Greater Emmanuel. It's gonna be phenomenal. We're gonna have some great speakers there, and he has given the word to Renee that they don't want to hear any sad statistics. They want us to come in and be ready to empower and uplift and motivate people on the importance of black home ownership and becoming homeowners themselves. As you have said, previously you're passionate about that, that's your favorite type of client, all of them are your favorite type of client, a sale is a sale, but to see the expression and the happiness and joy that someone experiences from becoming a first time home
Yeah.
buyer. So those are some of the things that are going on during Realtors Week, and to be honest with you, every week, because that's what the realtors do.
Exactly.
They promote black home ownership and
Yes.
build black wealth. Also, I do have to chime in again and let people know that they are watching Beauty and the D, where we focus on power, wealth, and style, hosted by yours truly, Stephanie Coney. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and other social media platforms. So please like, follow, share, subscribe, and comment. And thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Also, you can call in if you have a question for Dr. Utwai Libbett. You can call in right now at 313-355-6018, and she'd be more than happy, I'm sure, to answer any questions or concerns you may have about Women's Council realtors, and or Starlite Properties. You wear so many hats. And speaking of wearing so many hats, what's the tea on that one? I love the hat. It's beautiful.
I love hats as well. And there is a sisterhood that occurs between the presidents of women's councils. So their women's council is all over the U.S. And we will have on the fourth Thursday of every month, we are having a virtual meeting to tell us what we need to do to make sure that we are creating the mission or doing the mission where we share information. Our Women's Council was chartered in August of 2023 in Houston. At the same time, there was the Central Indiana Association Women's Council was chartered. And that president also likes hats. And we formed this casual relationship, and she called me. We were sharing things because we're both new, and we were trying to figure out how to do some things. And as we were leaving, 2 weeks ago was the midwinter meeting for the Realtors, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. It was phenomenal. The education that was there was excellent.
As usual.
Yeah, and the growth over the year has just been wonderful. So the president of Indiana had this hat on, and I said to her, I love your hat, and she thanked me. And when it was time for us to go to our Women's Council meeting, I sent her a text and I said, are you ready? And she said, for the meeting, and she said, was there something special? And I said, no, just bring your smile and that hat. And she said, I've been known to give away hats. And I told her I had been known to accept the gift. As she was leaving to go back to Indiana, we're in the lobby of the Marriott in North Carolina, and she tosses this hat across the lobby to
like
me.
Like a frisbee? Did she
like
toss it
a frisbee? It came sailing, and believe me, I caught it. So, shout out to the president, Madam President of Indianapolis chapter. I want to thank her, and I'm going to send her this clip. Yes. Because I love this hat.
So do I. Thank you, Madam President. Thank her for giving you the hat, and thank you for wearing it today.
Sure.
Because that was one of the first things I complimented you when I saw you today was that hat. Also, let's talk about Women's Council and our colors. You love to wear red for a lot of different reasons.
Yes.
And Women's Council is one of them.
Yes, Women's Council is one of them. Red and pink are the two colors for Women's Council, and you don't realize what a nice combination that is until you put them together. Mm-hmm. Also, red is one of my favorite colors am an active member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
All right.
And so, interestingly enough, these two groups actually complement each other very well. We are working right now to do a home ownership open house in Southfield. The Southfield chapter is my chapter, and it is June 4th. I have not gotten permission to make this announcement, but I'm excited about it, and you will hear more about it because we're going to do a collaboration. There is a memorandum of understanding between the National Association of Real Estate Brokers and many of the Divine Nine groups.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of creating generational wealth is a major issue, is a major mission of NARAB
Yes.
and all of our Divine Nine groups. Most all of the African American Association groups
Mm-hmm.
have an economic development segment. And what is generational wealth but economic development?
Mm-hmm.
So the color red means a lot to me. The color red means a lot to Divine Nine. The color gold and purple and black and gold
Mm-hmm.
mean a lot to a lot of people.
NARAB has so many affiliations right now.
Yes.
It's just mind blowing. And I do want to talk a little bit about the Building Black Wealth tour. It's a 100 city tour,
Yes.
and they have also created an MOU with the African American mayors
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
So we don't just sit here and look for titles and plan elaborate galas and parties.
No.
No, our organization is boots on the ground
Mm-hmm.
in to build generational wealth. And we can do that via real estate, starting with becoming a first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize the importance of being a hometown first buyer, a first-time home buyer. They think real estate and think, oh, I probably can't do that. Oh, that's too complicated. But it really isn't, especially with a lot of these down payment assistance programs. And our organization works to push that information out
Mhm.
to the communities.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does. And one thing I want you to mention also is that the memorandums of understanding
Mm-hmm.
are also with the churches.
Yes.
Remember that for many, many years, the churches have been the center of movement in our communities.
Yes.
And so that is very important, and that's why the community day is at, what's the name of the church again?
Greater Emmanuel.
Greater Emmanuel. That's the reason, because of the memorandum of understanding between the churches
Mm-hmm.
and the National Association of Real Estate Brokers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, back to building generational wealth and down payment assistance.
Mm-hmm.
There are many banks who are offering down payment assistance. The affiliate of the Greater Detroit Realtors Association is NID.
Mm-hmm.
They do counseling, and they are HUD-approved counselors. Once you go through your counseling, you get a certificate which allows you to apply for the down payment assistance.
Mm-hmm.
I did a talk on generational wealth through home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Know that many things have happened to people because they bought a home, they paid down their mortgage, and they had equity that they could use for any number of things,
Mm-hmm.
including starting other businesses,
Mm-hmm.
including instead of paying 18% for that car you needed to get back and forth to work, they pull the equity out of their house. Instead of being 18%, that money is still 8%. So economic development goes hand in hand with owning a home and home ownership. It's also been shown to have an important role in the development of a child. They have a stable home, they have a stable community, and so there were times when things went wrong, but it is still a way to get ahead, to get generational wealth, to build on something, to have something for your children, something for yourself, something. As a matter of fact, we pulled from the equity in our home to pay our son's first semester at Howard.
Wow.
It was up to him after that because he had to get good grades. He was a student athlete. But you can pay for your child's education that
That's
way.
a very good point. So many great points. Even going back to strengthening the community.
Yes.
People tend to have more pride in their home when they're a homeowner versus a renter. Also helping to build the comps in the area.
Yes.
So that everyone is able to build wealth.
Yes.
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 To build
Explain
that
what
equity.
you mean by comps.
Thank you. To build the values, the home values in those areas. If you typically, you tend to have more homeowners in a particular area, that helps build the equity and the value in the home, so that you can tap into that and pay your first year of college for a kid.
Yes.
Yeah. So, a lot of good things that comes out of that, and also the camaraderie, the education, the conferences that our national organization has, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. It really, the first time I went to one and I reported back, I used the term Black excellence. When they asked me to speak, I said, I just have two words: Black excellence. Because you're around that, as a professional. And that's a good feeling to have. Now, I've never been to a conference with realtors, okay? So I can't speak to that. But I know what I can speak to when I'm around people who look like me, who are professional like me. And it's not just, I want to let people know, it's not just realtors that are a part of the Realtors organization, but it's folks like myself, insurance agents, developers, appraisers. Talk about property managers. Talk about who could become a member for not just GDRA, Greater Detroit Realtors Association, but as well as Women's Council.
So the mission, as I mentioned, is education, leadership, home ownership, and as when I was a kid, we used to say, if you're down with us on these goals, you can become a member of Women's Council. We're always looking for members. We have 10 committees, and the work for an association, in my mind, gets done in the committee. And so we're always looking for members. We always need people who can help us achieve what we're trying to achieve. We are, in the next 2 months, we'll be starting a leadership academy that will be open to the public as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that you want to be a leader in real estate. You can also, the classes will be for people who may want to be political leaders, people who may want to be just a leader in their community.
Absolutely.
So leadership is important, and there is a way to become a better leader. I'm always going, we never know it all.
You are the conference queen. You live at a conference.
I do.
Okay.
So education is important. Education is important. And if you're interested in seeing when that leadership academy begins, please go to www.WJZZ I know it's long, but you can go there and you can see the event. If you want to sponsor one of our events, you can become a sponsor as well. It's on the website what you would get as a sponsor. So know that Women's Council is very busy, and the local Women's Council is very busy, as well as the National Women's Council. One of the things I want to talk about, Stephanie, is very quickly, the president of Women's Council in Bay, California, came through here. She and her business partner are doing a Chocolate City tour. They're going to 16 cities that have a major African American population. And they're doing something called FIRE. They're educating folks on finance, insurance, real estate, and entrepreneurship.
I love it.
And whenever they come to a city where there is a women's council, they will ask the president to do a presentation. I did a presentation, and it was on fire.
That was what, 2 weeks ago?
That was 2 weeks ago. Our counselors were there. Our NID counselor was there so that people could sign up if they needed to be counseled. But I'm going to tell you that anywhere you go, you can learn something, because the gentleman who did the insurance portion was from California, but he was talking about a part of insurance that I had never heard of, because we typically think about health insurance and so forth. But he was talking about using your life insurance to also invest in a business and so forth.
Absolutely.
So there's always the opportunity to learn, and I was really pleased to be asked to be part of the Chocolate City event that she did here, that they did here.
Well, 16 cities. I pray that it increases and that, they leave a footprint everywhere they go.
She's going to come back.
Fire. Oh,
She's
great.
going to come back to Detroit.
Yes, maybe we can get her to say a little something for Women's Council.
Exactly. That would be great.
Absolutely. Now, let's go back to our Leadership Academy real quick.
Yes.
How long does it last? What does it include, and is there a price? And I can't believe we're down to 2 minutes.
Oh, wow. So right now,
in.
we are looking for a sponsor for it, because we would like for there not to have to be a price.
Okay.
It will be an 8-month event, so to speak.
Oh, this is going to be rigorous.
It's an academy. It's truly an academy.
Okay.
People will specialize. They'll talk about how to speak, how to write a speech, how to engage people, how to dress.
Yes.
And on and on and on.
Yeah.
So it will be a full academy.
Okay.
So.
And let's also talk real quickly, because we got a minute left.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. How can people join Women's Council, and what are the different membership fees? Costs?
Okay. The cost of joining Women's Council is $50. If you are a real estate professional, you will need to also be a member of GDRA, and then you can join as an affiliate member of Women's Council. If you are not in the real estate arena, you don't have to be a member of GDRA, and the cost is $50. Once again, the membership application is on www.WCSEMrealtors.org. And we'd love to have you.
We would love to have you. Yes, we would. Well, speaking of having someone, I am so elated that you are here. I was so happy to have you as my guest today.
Well, thank you.
You always show up on fire yourself, and I appreciate it. Anything you would like to tell our listeners on our way out?
Just, it's important to be involved in your community. Generational wealth is a I put it into a 9-step process on a ladder. If you want to get in touch with me and talk about this, I can be reached at 248-470-3462, Starlite Properties, STARLITE Properties.com.
Phone number one more time.
248-470-3462. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you for being here. Dr. Etwai Libbett.
Detroit.